The popular Everest no-filter hashtag attempted to summit the world's highest peak without the aid of supplemental oxygen, but with the aid of social media. They Snapchatted along the 29,000-foot trek. Adrian Ballinger and Cory are back from Everest, thankfully, and they are here in studio with them. And guys, welcome back. We are so glad to see both of you here.
Thank you so much.
We talked to
be here
via phone, and
it was at 21,000 feet just before that last
And I was
part.
nervous. But I wasn't going to try to make you nervous and talk you out of doing it, but do not try this again. Don't try it again. I'm telling you, as an adult.
I'm sorry.
We were plenty nervous already.
This fall.
I'm telling you, kids. Yeah.
We've got 3 months to gain weight.
What finally happened this time? I remember one of you guys went, right?
Cory went to the summit, and I ended up turning around a little bit below the summit. I had hypothermia, so my core temperature had dropped, and I was really having trouble just funcking.
You know, that can happen when you're in 40 below. You knew that, right? If you're going to go in 40 below zero, you might
Turns out I get cold up there.
You guys are skinny.
I'm actually impressed by both of you and what you managed to do. Cory, making it up without oxygen, with doing it this whole way. Adrian, I was telling you before, I was really impressed with your decision to turn around and knowing your limits on that. I mean, how did you know that you weren't going to be able to do
I mean, of course, I'm still heartbroken in some ways by the decision. It's been a dream of mine since I was a kid to stand on top without supplemental oxygen. But at the same time, I could see my body system shutting down as I went. And I was very clear to myself, like, I didn't want to be a statistic or a fatality. I didn't want to cause a rescue that sucked Cory in. I wanted to come home.
I mean, you know the limits of it's just a red blood cell thing. You know the way it works when air is really thin. What different, if you get to the summit using some supplemental oxygen, what is it really that, does it ruin it, really, if you use some oxygen?
It doesn't ruin it, but
you really got to do it without oxygen?
I think there's a purity to it, and that's not to say that everybody should do it that way.
As a human, just to get there.
Yeah, I just think that for me, like rising, kind of bringing myself up to that challenge versus bringing it down to me is important. And granted, that's like, we have a very unique physiology that actually allows us to even try to do it that way.
What is that? What is the?
Well, it's just,
It's not good for anything else, but we breathe well at high altitude.
It's good to live in Boulder.
It's great to live in Boulder. I mean, I was raised in the mountains. I was raised in Salt Lake City skiing every weekend. So, we don't actually know the science behind why some people are predisposed to doing this.
Probably it would be cheating if you use Depot, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit.
You create your own standard in the mountain. There's no governing body, but we sort of wanted to approach it as purely as we could.
And Cory, by the way, there's only about 200 people who have done this.
Yeah, less than 200 people. What's interesting is 7,000 people have climbed the mountain. Less than 200 have done it without oxygen, and over 30% of the deaths that occur are from attempts without oxygen.
Right. And it's been more dangerous in recent years. How many in the last couple of years?
Well, that statistic is really spiked because of the earthquake and because of the avalanche and the ice fall. Actually, Adrian can speak to that more because he was actually there both
How many?
years.
Well, there's certainly been dozens the past 2 years.
You guys think that would give me pause?
Of course,
but that's why we went to the north side as well.
We went to the north side of the mountain, which is a bit safer, and it's partly that risk that makes the experience so special or so intense. There is this very clear consequence when you do things wrong.
Is it ever enough, or are you guys going to keep going back and doing this again and again?
Well, this was my 9th season on the mountain. I've summited 6 times before with supplemental oxygen.
So you've been there?
Yeah, I've summited 6 times before.
Yeah. And Cory, you guys already have plans to go back.
Yeah, and I don't think it's there's old mountaineers or alpinists, and then there's bold mountaineers and there's alpinists. And I think hopefully you garner enough experience over the years to make smart decisions. Sometimes you do get caught out, and that's unfortunate. And Adrian and I both lost friends, but it's like anything in life. You're not going to stop playing golf.
Well, I told you, there are bunkers on some of these courses.
I know.
It's an extreme sport for me to step in there knowing it's probably going to take me a couple swings. So it's very similar. No, I wouldn't spend the night in the bunker, but sometimes I feel like, next time you guys are going to go, if you're wondering whether to
You'd like
invite
to
me,
join.
no,
Don't Snapchat it. Come on.
Yeah,
put a webcam up there. That's what I want you
How
guys
does
to
that
do.
change the experience? We're about out of time, but the Snapchatting, how did that change the experience?
You know, I think the great thing was it was just this fantastic storytelling app to bring other people into it. Every day we'd receive hundreds of comments and videos of people asking questions and being a part of the climb.
It's an ability to bring people to a place that they'd never actually go, and I think that's very, very special. As a storyteller, somebody who works in photography, that's, you know, one of the most special things you can do is share that emotional experience.